Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X.
And Ish.
You already know what to do. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you go ahead and hit that like and share button. If you are on our Facebook page, go ahead and give our Facebook page a like. And as well, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And as well, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future.
Ding.
And as well, if you are on Twitter, go ahead and check us out on Periscope at X Talking Ish, and as well check us out on my personal page at X_Williams81. I went ahead and retweeted it already, so no excuse not to watch it. All righty then. With that being said, let's get to the comments right quick because you already know our boy Fracture Walnut is there. He says, "Let's get it. Great night to talk football." And he is not wrong. We do have a lot to talk about, a lot to recap on. But before we do so, got to make sure I check in with my main man, Ishmael Saigonius. How you doing tonight, sir?
Chilling. You know, had a pretty rough week in fantasy. One of my teams won. Actually, in our league.
What are you talking about, roughly? What are you talking about, sir? You had the most points in the week. Are you being sarcastic right now?
Well, in our league, I did. But in my other dynasty league, yeah, it was rough.
You be all right.
The lowest points in the league. So.
At least you didn't lose by like 4 points. But like myself, lost to KC and had Njoku on the bench. And yeah, that easily could have been a win for me. But whatever. It's fantasy for you. And don't get me started on picks right now. We'll get to that about another 35 minutes. So I can let all y'all know how much money I lost over the weekend. Alrighty then. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the Thursday football games that we like to call the Thanksgiving Day traditional games. Let's go ahead and recap those right quick. After that, we'll get into Monday Night Football, and then we'll also get into the rest of the games. So with that being said, let's go ahead first talk about the Bills and the Lions. Ish, I'll let you take this one first.
Yeah, no surprises here. Bills won that game. Yeah.
Well, besides just the Bills lost this game, I think Ish wants to also put in that maybe the Lions and Lions fans need to rethink this tradition. I understand you know, the Lions, this is their spotlight game of the season, them playing on Thanksgiving and whatnot. But to what emotional expense? Because it seems as though that Lions fans are okay with being hurt year in and year out. Nobody expected them to beat the Bills unless you're a Lions fan. But why do y'all keep setting yourself up for this unfortunate disappointment year in and year out? Ish, can you just help me out with that? My family members are Lions fans, and I don't understand it. So I need help.
Yeah, I don't really know. It's a tradition. It's a traditional thing. I guess that's why they keep doing it. But at this point, it's really something that we should probably just get some new teams to play on Thanksgiving. We need to find a new tradition or something. The line is just not it anymore. It's just not it. And maybe in a couple of years, as they complete this rebuild, maybe
it might be
we revisit it. But
right now,
for now, let's do something else, please. I tuned in for just a little bit, and then I wasn't even trying to hear it or see it.
All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on because I'm pretty sure the people that's tuning in right now don't really care too much about this game and want to move on. And we'll go ahead and go from there. All right, let's get to the other game, the Giants and the Cowboys, which was probably the most hype anticipated game of that Thursday slate. The Cowboys took care of business as we expected them to do. The Giants, as y'all see, only lost by 8, but let's be real-ish. The Cowboys had this game pretty much from the beginning to the end. Even though the score was only an 8-point score, it definitely felt like the Cowboys were up by at least 2 scores. The only really question I have for you, Ish, is if Odell joins the Cowboys, does that make them instant Super Bowl contenders, because right now I don't look at them as Super Bowl contenders. I look at them as top 3 team in the NFC, but I'm still not sold on them just yet, mainly because they haven't proven to all of us that they can do it yet, right? So if you do add Odell to the offense, does that give them that mental ability to say, okay, we got Odell, we got another guy, we can go out here and really, really do this? What do you think, Ish?
I think it makes them a better team, but I don't necessarily think it makes them a Super Bowl team. I think that it'll give them more weapons. It'll make them harder to defend, but it all comes down to being able to put those pieces together and execute, right? And I just don't know until we kind of get an idea of how they're going to spread the ball around, because that would be the question, right? Like, it's not like they don't have weapons. They got CeeDee Lamb, they got Michael Gallup, they got the two-headed monsters in the backfield, Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, although it's more like 1.5 because Zeke Elliott, he kind of been up and down, and Pollard been the main one running. Although this game, Ezekiel Elliott did have a good game, 16 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. But I still think that for me, it's just that, you add OBJ to them, and then what does that offense look like? Because this is kind of like a running offense. They do throw the ball and mix that in, but now you're adding another hand that you gotta feed, another mouth to feed in here. It's just a lot going on that I don't think I will put them as Super Bowl contenders. Would it raise their potential to be a Super Bowl team? Yes, I think their potential will be a Super Bowl winning team. But whether or not I would say they're immediately catapulted into contenders, I don't think so. We'd have to wait and see.
Now, can I just say this one thing? I just want to caveat on this one little thing. You do know, well, because we're talking about it right now, but for the people that don't know, it is week 12 of the NFL season, about to be week 13 in 2 more days, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many games have Odell played this season? And I know people think that it doesn't matter, but it definitely does. If you just go back and look at the last 2 games for the Eagles, and you go look at a guy like Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, those guys, yes, they are good, but you can tell over these past 2 weeks they have not played football. And it takes a couple of weeks, even maybe a couple of months-ish, to get back into football shape, football mentality, just being able to do these things in a football realm on a high level field, right? We're not jumping into a college game, right? We're not jumping into a high school game. This is the NFL, and this is also a guy that's coming off an ACL injury, his second one, right? And I'm not here to hate on Odell and that stuff, but I'm not understanding why so many people are still living off of the hype of what Odell can do and not what's going on right now with Odell. He had a great season with the Rams last year, right? He had a pretty damn good season, and he also had a pretty good game in the Super Bowl until he got hurt. That's unfortunately not just football, but that's just sports in general, right? So he's sitting out this past year, of course, rehabbing. He probably is 100%, or maybe about 85, right? It takes a full calendar year for you to get back right from an ACL injury, and he's about 85, maybe 90% ready. But even if he was to join the Giants, the Cowboys, maybe even the 49ers, right? Somebody ran him out of nowhere. He's still going to have to learn the playbook, get back into football shape, and be able to be one of the guys. That's another thing too, because you're coming onto a team later in the season where that team's already established, right? Those guys know each other, and they know their pros and their ups and their downs. And with Odell, some people might look at him as a distraction. Some people might look at him, he's in it for himself. He's not in it for the team. So whatever team he does go to, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, how that all plays out. But I don't think it's just going to be rainbows and lollipops when he joins the team and everything's just going to be ready to go. That's just my opinion. Travis Crowe says should go to a run stopper. Oh, my bad. Should go get a run stopper. My apologies. Why get Odell when I could have kept Cooper? Well, unfortunately, not Jerry Jones. So, I'm pretty sure you probably and other Cowboy fans would have wanted to keep Cooper, but due to salary cap reasons, that's why he's with the Browns at the moment. Also, Travis Crowe said, I think we'll be fine without Odell. So, you heard it here from our Cowboys fan. He said they will be okay without Odell. And honestly, I think the exact same thing on that. So, let's go ahead and move on to America's game. America's team versus the American man. Captain Kirk does it once again.
With that nonsense.
Captain America does it once again and pulls the Vikings to victory. Are you mad at me because Captain Kirk out here putting on MVP performances? Is that what you're saying?
Whatever.
I'm just being honest with you. I'm trying to campaign for Kirk Cousins to win the MVP because that means there's gonna be more money in my pocket. I'm just being honest with you. I need Kirk Cousins to get that MVP. Other than that, I honestly feel like this was a very, very good bounce back game for the Vikings. The way that they got disrespected at home last week against the Cowboys, they had to show up on primetime. And we know how Kirk Cousins' record is during primetime games. Again, after a week after getting their butt whooped by the Cowboys, they needed to show up. And they did. I think the Patriots actually played very, very well. Again, for the team that they are, I think they played very, very good football. Just at the end of the day, the Vikings are just overall a better team than the Patriots. So this outcome doesn't surprise me. But overall, for the Patriots, though, watch out for them in the AFC. I mean, they can creep up still in the playoffs and really secure them a playoff spot. At the moment, if the players were to start right now, they would have the 7th seed, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I know Ish about to go and double check for me, whatnot. But again, at the moment, the Patriots, if
they're on the outside looking.
Okay, so if anybody was to tell us that the Patriots were number 8 seed in the AFC going into week 13, I think a lot of people would have laughed, right? I mean, because I think a lot of people didn't look at the Patriots as being a team to worry about this season just due to what they were looking like last season, right? They did improve over the offseason, but again, nobody looked at the Patriots like they are a threat in the AFC. I don't think they will be that much of a threat overall to make a run the AFC Championship game or even the Super Bowl, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Bill Belichick does what he does best in that scheme, and that's maybe pull off an upset in the first round and then lose in the second round. Ish.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them getting in because they're right there. They're really close. But at the same time, I mean, this isn't the Patriots of old. I don't put a high ceiling on there for them, especially with Mac Jones as quarterback. I just think that if they happen to sneak in, which it's plausible because they're right behind the Jets, and the Jets currently have a whole situation going on over there. So they could catch the Jets, get that last spot, and then we could see. I don't see the Bengals dropping many more games going forward, so I think that one's kind of wrapped up and spoken for. So really, I think at this point, it's really just the Jets and trying to figure out how do you get the Jets, or maybe they are tied going in, maybe
tied with what?
For that last spot.
Remember, they swept the Jets too. So if the Jets and Patriots have the better same record, the Patriots should jump over the Jets in the standings.
Oh no, they're not tied. I think Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm gonna verify it.
All right, you verify while we move on to the next game. Let's go ahead and get to Monday Night Football, and I'll be the first to say this. If you tuned in on Sunday, I made a big mistake because apparently I don't know how to read schedules, but I did say that did not have a Monday Night Football game this week. I was wrong. I was wrong because apparently both these teams have just been in the gutter for this last 6-7 weeks, and nobody really has talked about the Steelers or the Colts except for obviously the big coaching hire from Jeff Saturday in regards to the Colts. After this loss, it does make Jeff Saturday's head coaching record now 1-2. Other than that, the Steelers have won 12 of the last 13 Monday Night Football games. That is a hell of a feat to have at the moment. And of course, they add another win on Monday, defeating the Colts. To wrap all this up, the main question that came out of this game was Jeff Saturday not utilizing his timeouts correctly on that last drive for the Colts to try to tie the game up. Jeff Saturday also stated in the post-game press conference that, I did make a mistake. Now looking back on it, I probably should have called timeout, right? Is that just the good and the bad that you're going to have to take with a coach like Jeff Saturday because he's never been in this position before? Is that something that Jim Irsay already prepared himself for? Because we talked about this already on the show plenty of times when it first happened and also the last couple of weeks. It could go great when it comes to being 7-1, or it could go really bad and be 1-7. Right now, it's trending towards 1-7. I'm not saying going 1-7. I think it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 wins. I think they won 2 or 3 wins. I think Jeff Saturday won 2 or 3 ball games as a head coach. But this is always just going to be a lose-lose situation for the coach. You can hype it up every week all y'all want to, but for the organization as an organization, this is just not a good look because seriously, where do you go from here? I mean, who as a coach is going to come in and change this for the better moving forward, right?
I think it's growing pains, right? Like, yeah, he's been around the game and he theoretically understands what should have been done in that situation. But, when you're the head coach, when you're the guy and you're put in that situation, I think he's learning on the job at this moment, right? Like, he doesn't have that previous coaching experience. So he's kind of learning while he's going. So, yeah, you might get a couple of these instances 1 or 2 times. But overall, he's done a decent job. He's done better than I think a lot of us expected him to do going in there. I think he's kind of filling the role similar to what Tony Dungy was doing not Tony Dungy, Herm Edwards was doing at Arizona State, where he's kind of like a figurehead, I think, really. He's just leading the team, the moral guy, and he's making sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do. But I don't think he really like running things. And I think maybe there was some confusion there from that standpoint. But as far as a coach coming in and doing something for them, I think, they've kind of set the bar low here by putting him in this position. You can really go any direction you want to. You can keep him. You can go get another coach that doesn't have as much experience. You can go get a real veteran coach that has a lot of experience and sees like, hey, if this guy was able to come in and take over this job and do well, maybe they are just a couple players away from being able to compete in that AFC South, which has a low bar anyway, because the aging Titans are the cream of the crop in the division. And let's be honest, the Titans are only getting older every year. So at some point, somebody got to be able to beat them in the AFC South because they don't seem to be reloading as quickly as they probably should, considering how old some of their pieces are starting to get. So I think they can go any way they want, and they've kind of set it up in that way. And just to follow up on the playoff picture, the Patriots, I was right, are 1 game out right behind the Jets at 6-5 and the Jets at 7-4. Yeah. So, yeah, Jets keep losing, then Patriots could go ahead and take that over. What made it confusing for me is that The Bengals and the Ravens are currently tied at the top of the AFC North. So that's there's no clear identification who the wild card is. I mean, the Ravens right now, I think, have them on tiebreakers, but obviously that's going to change here in a couple of weeks with the remaining schedule. But it's tight. It's tight in the AFC, and I think even the Colts. You look at it right now. Mathematically, there's
stop. No. All right, Aaron Rodgers, Mister. If mathematically we're able to make the playoffs, I'll shut y'all asses up. The season's over.
Hey, mathematically they still in there.
You believe Matt Ryan about to make a run?
Yeah,
I got a beach house on Idaho that I would love to sell you right now.
I mean, I'm just trying to tell you that there's a chance. There's a chance there. It can happen.
Everybody that's listening in right now, do you think that the Indianapolis Colts have a chance to make the playoffs? Please let me know in the comment section, because I think Ish needs to go to sleep early because he's a little tired. Ish a little tired right now because I know he's seen the first 11 weeks of this season, the way the Colts have been playing. They are not about to flip the switch and make the playoffs. It ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. I love you, Ish. Not happening.
It's possible.
Now, one team that definitely be making the playoffs, another team that you can definitely ask for them, is it possible to make the playoffs? The Packers and the Eagles squared off on Sunday Night Football, and what a hell of a game that was, right? I mean, we kind of assumed and thought it would be a good game, but definitely was a back and forth until Aaron Rodgers seemed as though he might have punctured a lung, and that's what it first was stated. Something internal. He was able to go through his MRI scan earlier this morning. He's apparently on his podcast with AJ Hawk and, of course, Pat McAfee. He said that things look better than he assumed they would be. And he said that if he's able to play, he's going to continue to, of course, keep playing the rest of the season and go from there. But besides Aaron Rodgers, besides the Packers, besides the Eagles, we know Eagles are 9-1. Packers look like crap. The real question, the real story is, what are the Packers going to do with Jordan Love? Because you're now in a situation where the Packers not making playoffs. Okay, it's not happening. You're not winning the division. You'll be lucky if you make it into a wild card spot. So most likely you're not going to make the playoffs. So what do you do with your first round draft pick, Jordan Love? Because if you're going to stick with Aaron Rodgers, you would think that if you want to trade Jordan Love and get something back for him, he has to go out on the field and showcase his skill set and have a team say, you know what, maybe we might take a chance on him. But if you continue to keep him on the sideline, and let's say Aaron Rodgers goes elsewhere, right? Let's say he goes to 49ers. He goes to Cleveland. He goes to whatever, right? And you have Jordan Love as your starting quarterback. Nothing wrong with that. Get in that starting position and keep moving. But if we really think we're going to have another Packer quarterback at the helm for another 15 more years, there's no way in hell we're going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. I'm talking about for an extended time period. And it's going to be all good and dandy.
Why not?
I think Jordan Love is a good quarterback. I don't think that he's horrible. I really don't. I think he's a good quarterback. But another 15 more years as a Packers quarterback. Now, don't get me wrong. I remember when we were making the transition from Brett Favre. I'm old enough to remember. People are like, oh, this Aaron Rodgers guy, he's not ready yet. You know, Brett Favre, he's a superstar. He's the greatest ever, right? He goes to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers takes over. First couple of years were a little shaky. Don't get me wrong. He had some good plays here and there. He had some good moments, but they still weren't Aaron Rodgers-esque of a season until that third and fourth year where he really broke through and he is what he is now. Same thing could happen for Jordan Love. But the real question is, are the Packers as an organization, are they patient enough to watch all that happen?
Do we think they're going to have a choice? I mean, my question really is, we've seen the whole debacle that's gone on this offseason and, off seasons in the past and everything with, the draft situations. And I mean, there's so many things, right? Free agency, so many things where the organization and Aaron Rodgers just have not seemed to have the smoothest relationship. Do we think he's still staying after this year? I mean, you traded away his best weapon. You didn't really go out and feel the need to really replace him. I mean, you replace him with a rookie. But is that really replacing a guy that before this season was considered, maybe
Well,
top
I
five?
will say this: you're not wrong about replacing him with a rookie part, because of course, obviously, he is a rookie. He did start off his season a little shaky, especially the first pass thrown to him, he dropped it. But over the last 3 games, he has been able to account for more touchdown catches than a lot of big name wide receivers, and he also leads rookie wide receivers in touchdown passes. So it might have come a little bit later than they wanted, but it is coming along when it comes to their first round draft pick, putting up the right numbers that they want to at that position. But like you're saying, does Aaron Rodgers want to stay that much longer to watch everybody else finally get to where they need to be? Because by the time they get to where they need to be, I'm talking about, of course, physically wise, progression wise, it might be too late for Aaron Rodgers. It might, he might not be able to keep doing what he's doing now. He's not a guy that's been able to stay away from injuries. He gets hurt. He gets hurt from time to time as well too, right? So we can't expect him just to be around until he's 45 like Brady. So what happens with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking, and that's where I'm telling you, I just don't know. During this off season, does he stay around? I think now's the time probably for him to move on. And like you're saying, let's figure out what we're going to do with Jordan Love. If we believe in him in the franchise, then let's roll with him. If we don't believe in him, what can we do to try to figure out something that we can do? I just don't know really if Aaron Rodgers being there is a thing anymore.
Fracture Runner says broken thumb, potentially broken ribs, but $50 million contract. Aaron got to play. This year, and I wouldn't say he has to play. If he's not physically able to play, he's not going to play. Fracture also says Aaron for Jimmy G in the offseason, 49ers could be the Rams next season and win it all. Well, I don't think the 49ers want to be the Rams this season because Rams are looking very disappointing. I mean, look, all the signs, they were pointing for Brady to return to the 49ers, right? I mean, come back to his home state, the California, go to the Bay Area, play for the Niners, and maybe win another Super Bowl. That was really, I thought that's where he was going to go, leaving the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers is a 49ers guy too. Pretty much, I wouldn't say the same exact background as Tom Brady, but kind of similar. Grew up in Cali, rep the 49ers as a kid, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if that happens. But one thing about the NFL and sports in general, nothing is surprising me anymore. I've seen so much crazy stuff nowadays. Like anything is possible, as KG would say. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the Buccaneers and Browns. Of course, our other old quarterback out there in the NFL. Unfortunately, this old timer did not get it done, and the young buck Jacoby Brissett was able to get this win as him being the starting quarterback for the Browns for this season, because obviously Deshaun Watson will now take the QB1 position and lead the Browns into Houston on Sunday. Of course, we'll talk about that on Sunday. But with this game, I will say this, Ish. The Buccaneers are very, very lucky that they are in the NFC South. Because if they were in any other division, they would not be looking at the playoffs right now. But because they are in such a bad division, the NFC South, I don't know what's going on right now with both conferences, but the NFC and the AFC South is trash. The NFC and the AFC East is great. I don't know what's going on with that, but it is what it is. I think the biggest takeaway from this game, And I know nobody's going to talk about it because it's not sexy, but the offensive line, Tristan Wirfs getting hurt. I think that's probably one of the bigger losses for the Buccaneers. That's going to show up over his next couple of weeks, and it's not going to get any better for the Buccaneers. And I understand, Brady's enjoying himself because he's still playing football and he doesn't have to be at home and all that stuff like that. But he has to be frustrated. He has to be a little frustrated. I know he didn't expect the season to go the way it's going, but Ish, I need your help with this one. Fracture One says, "Are we finally ready to say that this is Todd Bowles' last time being a head coach?" First of all, we're gonna talk about this right now. Why are we disrespecting Todd Bowles like that? Come on now. We're not going to disrespect Todd Bowles like that. Let's look at the makeup of this team. It's just not good. It really is not good. Leonard Fournette, besides him coming, into camp out of shape, he just does not look good this season. There's been injuries on both sides of the ball, and I'm not here trying to make an excuse for Tom Brady at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to see him to win number 8. I'm just being completely honest. But let's look at this team. The only consistent piece of this team is Tom Brady throwing the ball to Mike Evans. Other than that, the defense has been And if you want to blame Todd Bowles for that, go right ahead. I have no problems anybody blaming Todd Bowles because that's his specialty. It's the defense side of the ball. But the offense has just been I think, and I was one of the people that was saying, oh, Tom Brady, mentally, he can get over whatever, right? This divorce isn't affecting him. He's fine. He's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. No, I think his mental has been seriously altered because of everything that's been going on with him and obviously Gisele and of course with the divorce, to where they have just not been playing up to their standard. And I think it's a lot of, besides living off the Super Bowl, I think it's a lot of Chiefs from Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles, Tom Brady, and it's those guys trying to rekindle what happened a couple of years ago. But in reality, this is a whole new team, and they need to find a better way to approach this. Ish.
I would say it's hard to say that this is Todd Bowles' last time because the defense is a top 10 defense. They're 7th in scoring defense. They're 9th in total yards. They're performing. They're 6th against the pass. They're performing on the defensive side of the ball. It's the offense that's having the problem, and we know why the offense is having problems. I mean, we could point to the start of training camp when Leonard Fournette shows up overweight. That's supposed to be your number 1 running back. You got Julio Jones, who they signed, we all knew what was going to happen there because my man has only played 6 games. He's only started 2 of them. I mean, you can't look at this team and realistically compare them to what they were 2 years ago. This is not that same team. There are a lot of holes. They've had a lot of injury problems. I think that Todd Bowles, obviously, because it is a team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, people are going to be more critical of him with the way that they're performing. But I also think we have to look at the situation on the team and the makeup of the team and say it's just not the same team. He was kind of given a team that was declining anyway. If anything, I feel like Bruce Arians saw the writing on the wall, was like, yeah, I'm not going to be the one holding it on this one. So Todd, go ahead. You got that.
Yeah.
So I just think, for me, I don't know that it's him. I think if you want to say as a head coach, you should have, even if you're not on the offensive side, not an offensive coach, your team should be prepared to play, and you should have assistants that are preparing the side of the ball that you don't coach to play. Yeah, sure, that's fair. But I just think that when I really look at it, I don't know that this year I'm judging Todd Bowles and saying if we had a different coach here, it would have been any different, because I don't know that it would have. Now, the thing that I'm looking at right now with the Buccaneers is it could really come down to the last game on the road against Atlanta.
Oh,
and
divisional game that could literally be for the division.
That could be for the division, last game against Atlanta, and I'll be interested to see how that goes. I would be interested to see if it comes all the way down to that. But can they find some sort of health and form to close the season out to possibly sneak in?
Fracture says, okay, if not 2 years ago, it's the same team minus injuries who came back from 24 down in the NFC Championship a year ago. Fracture, please answer this question. Who won that game, though? Okay. They can come back all they want to. They didn't win the damn game. So, with that being said, he also says almost made the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Yes, almost, but it didn't happen last year. And I saw the writing on the wall last year when it comes to it. I didn't think that they looked. I mean, they looked good, but after losing to the Rams, I was like, maybe that's the beginning of the end. I thought, Tom Brady's gonna pack it in and go home, but hey, that's here and there. We'll check back in on the Bucs. Like you said, it's maybe week 18. Maybe that's the week that we'll see another Tom Brady come back to will them to the playoffs, and we'll go from there. All right, let's go ahead and get to the Bengals and the Titans, and I'll be the first to say it. Joe Burrow is the Titan killer right now. Joe Burrow is the guy that
glad you said it.
That everybody wants to have and nobody wants to face. At the end of the day, look. Besides talking here on X Talking News, we're gonna keep it real. I mean, at least I am. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna keep it real. And at the end of the day, Joe Burrow, bad boy. All right, Joe Burrow, bad boy. I've known he was a bad boy for a minute now, and this is just another one of those games where it solidifies that he's a bad boy. I really don't have too much to say except for the Titans do what they do best, which is play down your competition. I'm not saying that the Bengals are bad, but they were missing very vital pieces on the offensive side of the ball to where the Titans should have taken advantage, and the Titans should have won this game at home. And you decided not to do that, and you ended up with a loss, which kind of compared exactly to the playoff game last year. You lost 19-17, and this game is 20-16. So it's just one of those things. It's look, hey man, I don't really have too much to say. It's a regular season game. I know how these things are when it comes to we can beat the Bills in the regular season, lose them in the playoffs. We can lose to the Bengals in the regular season, beat them in the playoffs. It happens before. It wouldn't surprise me if it happens this year. But as a Titans fan, just looking at this performance on Sunday, I'm not confident at all.
I mean, I told you so. I don't think it said anything about the Titans. I think they played a team that's on the rise right now, and a team that they smell the blood in the water. The Ravens, as we've seen, they're struggling at the moment. They don't know what they're doing. They don't want to win the division, which seems to be a theme in the AFC North of the past couple of years, where we get towards, we get to this point in the season, and it seems like whoever's leading the division doesn't end up winning the division because nobody ever wants to win the division for some reason in the AFC North. But the Bengals smell the blood in the water, and so they are playing right at the right time, even without some of their best players. They started playing the game of football like we went to the Super Bowl last year. We should probably pick things up. And they're starting to pick things up, and they're starting to perform, and they're starting to find their identity. They're running the ball more. They're establishing themselves. They're playing good, solid defense, kind of doing those things that they were doing last year towards the end of the year that got them to the Super Bowl. So I saw the writing on the wall. I said, hey, X, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Bengals going to find a way to get it because that's just the momentum that they have coming in. And sure enough, that's just what happened. I don't think it said anything negatively about the Titans. I think the Titans, we know who they are, and I think the Bengals know who they are, unfortunately. And as a result, the Bengals were able to win this game. But, I can understand your frustration from the standpoint of at some point you want to see your team make the right kind of adjustments to beat a team that appears to be their boogeyman, right? The team that seems to always get up to play them. I know the frustration. I have the same frustration when the Chiefs play their division rivals, and for some reason, it just always turns into a game that it shouldn't have even been that, right? Like you should have won the game. So I get it, but yeah, I'm not worried about the damn Titans. The Titans gonna do what the Titans do. They're gonna lose to the Bengals, and then they're gonna come out and smoke a bunch of other teams that people think they should lose to. So
yeah, we'll get back to them, especially this upcoming week when they play the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the game I talked about a couple weeks ago that the Titans will give the Eagles their first loss. Maybe they can give them their second loss. We get into our segments. Don't be upset. We'll recap these right quick. I have the Jaguars over the Ravens. That one.
You got that on the head.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. Ish had the Cardinals over the Chargers, which almost had it just by a point. Both these games literally came down to a point. So we were right there. Also, as well, if I was a betting man, you already know our Prize Pick promo code. You're more welcome to check that out. Kyle Allen, of course, he decided to throw for over 34 passing attempts. And what happened when he throws for more than 34 passing attempts? Like I said on Sunday, Texans are going to lose that game, and that's what they did. Taylor Heineke, over half an interception. He threw for 1. Joey Sly, over 1.5 field goals made. He kicked 3. And, of course, the Titans defense did what they do best, which is lackluster performance against Joe Burrow and only sacked him 1 time. So, with that being said, if you decided to pick my picks, you won no money. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on from those silly picks of mine and finish up tonight. And we'll get to those fun-loving Texans we love talking about so much. Look, this game was over with in the first half. It was 30-0. The game was pretty much over with. Dolphins pulled their starters by the third quarter. And there's really not too much to say about the Dolphins except for they look amazing when they have Tua, and Tua's healthy. And we saw how they look when they don't have Tua, right? I don't want to talk about Super Bowl or anything like that right now for the Dolphins just yet. Let's wait like another 2 or 3 more weeks. But right now they are trending in a very, very good direction. They're able to keep their players healthy. You haven't heard any, major injuries so far with that team. They've added pieces on both sides of the ball, of course, before the trade deadline. I mean, they look very, very good. Again, I don't want to talk too much about the Dolphins. Wait about that in a couple more weeks. What I want to talk about more than anything are the Houston Texans. The Texans will, of course, take on the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. And like I said, we'll talk more about that on Sunday. The one thing that I want to talk about, though, and I'm pretty sure if you're in Houston, you saw this article that came out. But apparently, lawyer Tony Busby, who was, of course, the lawyer for actually all of the accusers that accused Deshaun Watson for his inappropriate acts, right? Apparently, they're going to have a box and a suite for those women to come and watch the game on Sunday. I'm going to leave it this, Ish. If you as a woman or even a man felt like somebody did something to you and you are so distraught-ish, you are so distraught that you don't want nothing to do with this person. Anytime you look at their face, they just put you in such a bad mood. Ish, can you please explain to me why would you show up to their workplace then and watch them for 3.5 hours? Please explain it to me, Ish, because I just want to know. I feel like I'm too much of a logical person. So maybe I'm just thinking too logically about this. Maybe I need to think more emotionally. Can you help me out with this, please?
I don't think it's that they want to go watch him. I think that they're just I think they want to make a statement. They want to make a statement. They want to, be there. It obviously they're getting the kind of press that they need to bring.
I have a question though. What's the
situation?
I thought the statement was doing this in the courtroom, not a.
Well, it was to do it in the courtroom, but obviously, if you feel like justice wasn't served, considering
we go to a football game and
considering the contract that he was given, I mean, I believe that they're trying to bring light to this, bring light to the fact that, I don't feel like they felt like they got the justice necessarily that they deserve. They don't feel like the man. They probably don't feel like he should be playing in the sport. Shouldn't have been rewarded with the contract that he was given, and so they're going to bring light to this. And I think any chance that they get, they will bring light to it. And I think that that's definitely within their right to do. And hey, like I said, it's been reported, right? You brought it up. You're talking about it. So it's doing exactly what they hoped it would do in continuing the conversation of, what happened and whether or not Deshaun Watson should be allowed to continue in this game, playing this game and making the kind of money that he's making when, what happened, what he did or allegedly did went on, because again, nothing was proven in court or anything like that. There was all these settlements. So we don't know, but
I don't know. It kind of sounds like workplace harassment to me, but hey, I'm just saying. If it's already been settled not once but twice, and you out here coming to my workplace to tell me about things that we already got settled in court, seems a little bit like harassment. Just saying. But we'll go ahead and move on though. Bears versus the Jets. Of course, the biggest topic of this game was, of course, obviously Zach Wilson was not starting. Mike White went ahead, started this game, balled out like most people expected him to do. Because if you actually watch Mike White play, he's actually a pretty damn good quarterback. He plays well, and I think he's a good, solid backup quarterback. The Jets obviously took care of the Bears by 21, but what's really interesting about this whole situation, you see a lot of people asking, will Zach Wilson start ever again for the Jets, either this season or just ever, right? And everybody's so quick to say no. But do we not see what's going on with the Carolina Panthers right now? Everybody said, oh, Baker Mayfield ain't going to start no more, right? Oh, Sam Darnold ain't going to start no more, right? Both of these guys have started again just due to injuries, right? Just due to injuries and maybe piss poor play. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Mike White gets hurt, Flacco gets hurt, and you have to put Zach Wilson in. So for everybody to say, oh, yeah, he's not going to play ever again, he's not going to be a starting quarterback for the Jets, let's pump your brakes a little bit there, because we've seen it just this season alone that he could be out there on the football field. But what I would love to see more than anything, and I talked to my wife about this, I said, what would be a unique plot twist to happen-ish? Let's say the Jets let him go, right? Or trade him, right? Which I don't think they'll trade. I think they'll release him, right? They'll release him, and guess who will pick him up? The New England Patriots. Then the New England Patriots will, of course, play the Jets twice a year, and he will beat the Jets for over the next 10 years as the Patriots quarterback. Wouldn't that be a plot twist for your ass if the New York's Jets organization were to let Zach Wilson go?
I don't know about that master plan and everything that you got going on there, because I don't know that Bill Belichick necessarily wants Zach Wilson. But it's interesting.
He might be a better quarterback than any of the quarterbacks on the roster right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible. But that's an interesting take. I think it's possible that could be kind of what they see happening, but I just don't know. I don't know for sure that that's what we would see. I don't know that they're sold on that either.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those.
Yeah, you just want to cause a stir.
Of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and move on to teams causing a stir, and I'm talking about the Washington Commanders. And I'm not even talking about on the football field. I'm talking about off of the field. Before the game even started, they apparently unveiled a quote-unquote statue for Sean Taylor. If you've seen the pictures, it's not a statue. It's more of a mannequin with apparel on the mannequin. Look, besides the Redskins part, which again,
why you gotta do them like that, man?
I'm not even worried about the Redskins helmet, all that stuff like that. I know everybody want to try to, erase that history. If you look at the actual uniform itself, you have a Nike jersey with Reebok pants and Adidas cleats. Those are all types of conflicting apparel going on there. and then it just looked like it got thrown together by a third grader 2 days before his science project was due. And one thing the Washington organization knows how to do is to fuck up something, right?
Why you gotta be like that? Why do you
why do
have
I
to
gotta
be
be like?
like
Why
this?
do they have
Why
to be
you
like
have
that?
to be? Why do you have to be like this?
Wrap
dude?
it up,
Why,
sir.
why you gotta be like
explain
this?
to me why I gotta
Man,
be like,
I mean, it
why
was.
do they have to be like that? Dan Snyder's at a point where he's just like, you know what? If I'm gonna go out, fuck it. All y'all gonna get these hands. That's how you gonna do Sean Taylor like that, Dan Snyder? Okay.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
That's how I felt when I saw the statue.
I'm trying to
find the word, sir.
And you keep calling it a statue. I don't think it's.
That's what I didn't call it that. I didn't call it a statue. Watch the Commanders call it the statue.
I don't think it's supposed to be a statue. I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know, man. I feel bad for laughing, but poorly executed. I don't know what to say. It's poor.
In the words of Peter Griffin, you want to know what grinds my gears? The Washington Commanders. Nah, they ain't the Redskins. They the Foreskins.
Oh my gosh!
That's why they always
gotta be like that, dude.
Why do they have to be like that?
Leave them alone. Just let them make it.
Anybody that likes to watch.
Why you can't let them make it, man?
We gotta get Dooley back on here so he can explain to us what the hell they got going on over there.
Just all right, let them make it, please.
Yeah, whatever. Never let them make it. Let's go ahead and move on to the Broncos Panthers, and there's not really too much to talk about besides the Broncos sucking as always, and the Panthers, for the love of God, won a game that they weren't supposed to. But what really stood out in this game, if you saw that clip, was defensive lineman from the Broncos pretty much being very upset with Russell Wilson just due to the performance on the football field and getting in Russell Wilson's face. They talked about it in the press conference, and they asked Russell, what did he say? He said, hey, he just pretty much said, we have to effing go. And Russell was like, yeah, he's right. We have to go. Look, that probably was true. I'm gonna be honest with you. The words were probably right when it comes to probably what he said. But I don't know about you, Ish. I'm pretty sure that locker room is just tired of hearing the "Come on, guys, let's go, guys. We can do this, guys."
No, I think
you've been in locker rooms, sir. You've been in locker rooms. I'm talking about from junior high to college. You've been in plenty of locker rooms to where like, look, when things are going bad, I don't want to hear no rah-rah person rah-rah right now. Okay, shut the hell up. Let us all sulk right now, and we can move on. Do you think that's pretty much what that situation was?
I think that Russell was saying let's ride, and my man, I think Bronco fans tired of hearing let's ride. Okay, yeah. I'm assuming my man said let's ride, and my God told him, very politely,
just shut up.
Yeah, bro. Like, I don't want to hear that anymore. I want you to just go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Do your dang job, okay? Stop with all the damn let's ride. Like, please just do your job. And I think that's what he was trying to, tell Russell. He was trying to
motivate in a football way.
He would motivate him in a football way. He was just telling him, like, come on, dude, do your job. Stop worrying about let's ride. Just go do what you're supposed to do. And we saw how Russell responded. He didn't respond.
He didn't. Yeah.
So they've invested a lot of picks, a lot of money. I don't think they can move on from Russ like that. So, hey, they in for a nice long ride with Russell.
Yeah, they're going to ride that Bronco. They're going to ride it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Ravens and Jags. Jags won this game by a point. And the way that they actually won this was on the last play. Well, the last drive of the game, they ended up scoring a touchdown to be down by a point. And, of course, most teams would usually kick a field goal and probably go into overtime, but not Dougie P. Dougie Peterson says, look, we're going for the two. We're going for the win right now. And not just a great play, but if you actually go watch that play, what a throw by Trevor Lawrence to zing that motherfucker in there and to win the game by a point. This is easily the highlight win for Trevor Lawrence, for the Jaguars, for Doug Peterson, for this era of the Doug Peterson era in Jacksonville. But this is more of the same for the Ravens, right? They have not been able to finish games this season, and that is going to bite them in the playoffs. I do not see them making a run in the playoffs because of just late game debacles. You have given up multiple double-digit leads this season and I mean you easily could have won 8-9 games already. But for the Ravens, they are going to end up having this season be for naught because I think it's honestly mainly the defense that's causing them to lose these games. It's not Lamar and the crappy wide receivers. It's really the defense, which is a sad thing to say because the Ravens hang their hat on playing defensive football. So to wrap all this up, are the Ravens already over? Like, is their playoff run already over before it even starts?
I think they can sneak into the wild card, but
I think they'll make the playoffs. I'm just saying, will they even make a run? Will they even be able to win that first game?
No, if they don't figure it out, they're not going to make a run. And I think what you're getting at, and kind of something to keep in mind here when you're looking at them, while you're saying that it's not Lamar's fault, and it's the defense, I think that is very misleading, right? The reason why I say that is it's not like this defense is horrible. This defense is playing all right. I think, though, where you're seeing this sort of situation pop up, because this defense actually is really good against the run. They're really bad against the pass. And with this team, they tend to get up, and then teams have to pass to get back in the game. And unfortunately, that's not the strength of their defense. They always have injuries, like Frasher Waldner alluded to for some reason. But Lamar in this offense, the reason why I say it's misleading what you're saying, Lamar in this offense, they have at times when you need them to get a conversion is when they can't get a conversion. And it just seems like they aren't able to make the plays when they need to make the plays. As Lee alludes to right here, 3 wide open touchdowns get dropped. I just think this offense, for some reason, when push comes to shove, when it's time to perform, when it's time to make a play so you can extend your drive, when it's time to close out a drive with a touchdown instead of 3 points, they just can't do it. They don't know how to make the play. Something happens, and then we kick in the field goal. Or it's 4th down, now we got to punt. I watched the game last week against Carolina. I watched this game against Jacksonville. And when you watch these games, those are the moments that really stand out to you. I don't think it's all on the defense. I don't think the defense is that bad. I think part of it, and this is some of the knock that goes on to Lamar, is when it's time to make these plays that you need, this offense, for some reason, just can't make these plays. And that is where ultimately you're looking at the defense saying, well, defense should stop them. But at the same time, at some point as an offense, you got to convert and keep them off of there.
I understand what you're saying. Let me get to this comment from Fracture One. He says, "Ish's statement is the reason why I don't think the Ravens will pay Lamar, and I guess sucks for him." You're not wrong, but I also will look at a guy like, and I'm not putting all of it on him, but Marcus Peters has looked horrible this season.
Yes, he has not been great.
So I'm just making sure we're on the same page. Great player in his past, but you're looking very burnt toast right now. And look, I understand Fracture Walden's statement when he said the Ravens are the Bucks when it comes to problems and injuries everywhere. But Ravens went through this last season where they had even more injuries, right? And they were able to make the playoffs and say, hey, look what we can do now, and we're gonna bring everybody back plus drafted guys. And it just does not look like it has progressed into being a better team. Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame does not look like a first-round draft pick. I mean, like this running game, we're supposed to have a six-head monster in the backfield, and we just don't see that with the Ravens. Lamar, again, like Lee says, I think Lamar has played well, but the rest of the team just.
Yeah, but this is one of the things that I've been seeing some of the draft previews coming out already, some of the early draft previews and some of the discussions going on. Here's my question for you, X, and maybe you can figure it out. Maybe you know, and you can tell me. How many times are they going to draft a wide receiver? How many times are they going to go sign a wide receiver? Yeah. Like, I don't know. At what point do we not just try to go 4 tight ends or something? Because it doesn't seem like whoever you bring in that wide receiver works out, right? It seems like it doesn't matter who's at wide receiver. And I'm not saying they got 4 studs lining up out there, right? Like, yeah, I understand they don't have necessarily that guy that I would say he's never had that guy that I look at and I say, yeah, that's a true number one, a true dominant number one, right? Yeah, but not very many teams have that guy
in the first place.
And it's not easy to find that guy, right? At some point, you got to make it do with what you got. Mm-hmm. And how many receivers are they going to go through? How many are we going to look at before we start saying, Lamar? At some point, you got to elevate these guys around you.
Patty Mahomes doing it. You see Patty
got to find a way.
Without Tyreek.
Even the coaches.
You see Aaron Rodgers, of course, do it every year. I 1,000% agree. If you want this contract, which if the Ravens don't give it to him, somebody will. I'm not saying he's not going to get his money.
I agree. Somebody will
get his money, but the Ravens will see him every day. They've seen him since he was a rookie. They must know something that we don't. And for whatever reason, a lot of people love Lamar. Black, white, young, old. A lot of people love Lamar, right? Because of what he does on the field and also what he does off the field, get back to the kids. He's there for the kids. Lamar loves the kids. I got all that. But a lot of people are blinded by that when it comes to, look how good of a person he is. Just give him all the money because he's just such a good person. If that was the case, Tim Tebow would still be in the NFL. Okay? The NFL is not for good people. I know that sounds crazy. It's for good talent. If your talent is great, you're going to get compensated for your talent. But for Lamar, and we're going to go ahead and move on from this, for Lamar, he has to find a way to elevate the team for the rest of the season to try to make a run for the Ravens to say, you know what? Give us a reason to not give you this money. And you didn't give us a reason. You didn't get in trouble. You ain't do silly stuff. And force the Ravens to do one or two things. Obviously give you, or not the Ravens, not Lamar would want to do this, but give him a franchise tag for 1 year and you keep him that one more year. And then obviously get your contract that 6th year, or you move. If I'm Lamar, hey, I move on. I go elsewhere. Cause again, somebody gonna give me the money. Just got to figure out who it's going to be. Lee also says, so is it a blow up the team and keep Lamar or let Lamar go and rebuild? Confusing situation to me. If you are the GM and see this the last 4 or 5 years, what do you do? Ish, take that one first.
Yeah, so for me, it's not necessary. Well, I think on the defensive side, it's not a blow up the team and rebuild, blow up the team and keep Lamar. I think the situation the Ravens are in that's going to be interesting on what they do with Lamar and why I think ultimately they have to give Lamar the money, right? They have reinvented their offense. They've changed their offense. They've molded and shaped that offense all around Lamar Jackson and his skill set. There aren't very many Lamar Jacksons out there. There aren't even very many poor man Lamar Jacksons out there that are going to come in and win games for you in the NFL. So if you get rid of Lamar, you have to change that entire offense. Entire offense has to be rebuilt. right?
Because that's something
The
that we talked about
scheme,
before when
the
it comes
players,
to
everything.
the Ravens were all in. When they got Lamar, they were all in. They changed everything for him. So, and I'll just piggyback on what Lee said. The Ravens really have historically have never really blown up their team since I'm just dating back from 2000. From 2000 when they won the Super Bowl to where they are now, they either reload or they try to, of course, keep what they have, their core that they usually have, mainly on that defense side of the ball. And again, they add little pieces here and there, and they just continue to keep on keeping on. But I don't see them blowing it up and rebuilding. I'm like you, Lee. I don't know if you're the GM. This is why GMs get paid the money that they get paid because they got to make these tough decisions. And right now, if I'm the general manager, I don't know what the hell to do. I'm just being completely honest. I really don't.
There's also an option of you franchise tag him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think any wide receiver is a good pickup for them. I don't think any wide receiver is a good.
I say this though. I will have to agree with Fresh Walnut. Marvin Harrison Jr. is easily the best receiver. Come out of the
well by far, he's the best receiver in college football.
I'm just saying.
Like any team, he should go to any team, and he gonna make any team better.
But so why not the Ravens?
Lamar Jackson can't throw it to the wide receivers for some reason.
You're not wrong, but get that down. Greg Roman, and if not going to be Greg Roman, then you better get somebody else in there offensively to scheme and shit up to get him the goddamn ball. That's as easy as it is. I don't understand why some of these coaches in the NFL make life so much harder than it needs to be. And I know probably some of them probably say, "Hey, come over here and come do it." You know what? Give me a $10 million contract. I got you, playboy.
Well, I do want to say this though. Before we wrap this up, I don't think that we're necessarily talking like we don't get us wrong as far as like we don't think Lamar is a good franchise quarterback, but I think the conversation we're having right now and the conversation that Lee brought up when asking what do you do as a GM, I think that's the kind of conversation that any organization that wants Lamar has to have, because the style of play that comes along with him is just different. And maybe it's a situation of, and we've alluded to it with the Bears and Justin Fields. We've alluded to it with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in Kansas City. Maybe it's the scheme situation. And as much as they have schemes for him, it doesn't seem like the passing game has been schemed in a way to help him get the ball to receivers. And yes, he has missed receivers throughout the season. We've seen the different mashups of all the receivers he's missed and overthrown and this and that. But I do think there's something to be said about putting your quarterback in a situation to succeed when it comes to scheming plays for them to get to certain players or easier reads in certain situations. And I'm starting to question if maybe in Baltimore they have become so reliant on running the ball and getting the ball to Mark Andrews and tight ends that they aren't necessarily concerned about the wide receiver position, and they're no longer actively trying to scheme for the wide receiver position and getting the ball to these wide receivers or setting up these plays for the wide receivers. So I don't know if it's a change of scenery thing. And it would be interesting. For chaos, I kind of want him to leave. I want him to go somewhere else, and let's see if it's a scheme thing.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one at all. Let's go ahead and wrap it up tonight with the Rams and the Chiefs. Of course, your team. I'll let you go first, sir.
Yep, Chiefs did what Chiefs do, take care of business. I don't even want to talk about the game. What I want to talk about is why the hell the Chiefs going out there and signing damn Melvin Gordon to the damn practice squad. Okay,
that's all I want to know. That was a very sneaky signing that happened, and I'm just going to add as well. I am sick and tired of you damn Chiefs signing all these players. I'm leaving it at that.
Yeah, we signed the defensive lineman too. That's going to be elevated to active roster soon, so I'm excited about that one. But the Melvin Gordon one, Lee sent me a message on Facebook, and to be honest, it took me a whole day to respond because I was so damn annoyed because I don't understand why we continue to do this, especially at the running back position. But it's annoying as hell. And
Melvin Gordon is mad at the Broncos. He's gonna come over to the Chiefs and tell all their secrets, and then they're gonna cut.
Nobody cares. Duh. Yeah, we're gonna do he gonna get the LaShawn McCoy treatment. He gonna come and just stand around, and collect a ring for doing absolutely jack squat nothing.
Well, Melvin Gordon needs to do one thing before he decides to become a starting running back once again in the league. He needs to figure out some fumbling issues. He wasn't really a guy that fumbled a lot prior to this year, but it's definitely something mental. We talk about this a lot when it comes to, for whatever reason, when it comes to athletes, if you're able to change just a little bit about them, it affects them tremendously. And could that be the fact with Melvin Gordon is getting the quote unquote the yips of fumbling to where he's getting fumbleitis and just can't do it anymore? Because as a running back, you can't protect the ball, you will not have a job. Plain and simple. It is just that simple. If you have to hold on to the ball with two hands, you're going to have to do that. But I don't think he will make that big of an impact for you guys. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if you see him, like I said, end of the season, maybe one of the playoff games where he might actually come and help out, contribute, and we'll see what happens from there. Lee says Bryan Edwards is a sneaky pickup. I definitely like the Brandon Williams pickup. Nice to have a tank in the middle.
Yep, I agree.
All right, then that is it for tonight. Of course, we went a little bit over, but that's all good.
Oh, yeah, we started talking about some things.
Yeah, it's all good. We just wanted to make sure, of course, you guys were recapped over this week 12. Fresh One also says Gordon needs to go talk to Tiki Barber about holding the rock.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that. You're not wrong.
Not at all.
Alrighty, then y'all know where to find us on Sunday morning right here on X Talking Ish. I will be at NRG on Sunday to see Deshaun Watson return to Houston, so I'll give y'all some live updates from.
Have fun with that one.
Oh, best believe I will, sir. Best believe.
We don't actually know that he's. Well, we don't know for sure that he's starting.
Okay,
he's starting.
Okay.
Jacoby Brissett just won a game, bro. Come on. Why y'all can't let Jacoby have his time, man?
Okay. All right, sir. All right. Anyways, back in reality world, we're going to go ahead and see y'all on Sunday. Next Talk It Is right here at 10 o'clock in the morning. We will see y'all next time. And who knows, maybe Deshaun Watson might be on the bench to back up Jacoby Brissett. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
Who knows? Maybe that might happen on Sunday. So with that being said, we'll see y'all next time.